Okay, welcome to Cleveland Heights City Council meeting. It's February 2nd, Monday at 7:38. Andy, would you call the roll?
Cobb.
Here.
Larson.
Here.
Posh.
Here.
DeWitt Foy.
Here.
Cohen. Kuda. And I am getting
Here.
Jessica.
All right. And Councilwoman Cohen is joining us via Zoom. So nobody's absent, no amendments to the agenda, correct? I'd like approval of the minutes. We got October 20th, November 3rd, and November 17th. I looked them over. They look pretty good. Anybody else?
Good to go.
All right. So we'll approve those minutes. Communications from the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Sure.
As many people have heard, Cleveland Heights has someone going to the Olympics, Layla Edwards. I'm very excited about this. In case you've not heard, we're having a watch party at the community center on Saturday. So doors open at 10 a.m. The match against Finland starts at 10:40. So I hope to see everyone there if you're available. On Friday, I met with CHUH Superintendent Liz Kirby. We talked through a lot of opportunities for collaboration between the city and the school district, and we agreed that we're going to meet quarterly going forward to make sure that we have good open lines of communication. Also, the city is hosting its Black History Month celebration from noon until 5 p.m. on Saturday, February 21st. And I'm really excited that this year, the city of University Heights is co-sponsoring the event. So they are providing both financial support and manpower for the event. I'd like to thank Cleveland Heights for Immigrant Rights for organizing the vigil last week. I wish that I had been able to attend. We had council meetings that evening. It was really good to see such a good turnout for something so meaningful for the community. Even though folks have not heard many public updates from the administration, please know that many of us continue to work on this. This afternoon, we posted, for example, some resources on the city's website, and in working with Councilwoman Jessica Cohen, there are some other things that she will share some updates on later. And with that, Mr. President, I'm done with my comments for this evening.
All right, thank you. And in honor of Black History Month, you'll see I'm sporting my Miles Davis t-shirt. That's my guy. Okay, so city administrator's report. Of course, we don't have that, but we will be voting on the city administrator tonight, so hang around for that. No departmental reports, but we do have a report from the clerk of council.
Yes, I'd like to report that I've received the following notices to legislative authority from the Ohio Department of Liquor Control. First, for a transfer of a D5 permit from Christopher's Pub LLC to Lade Black Management LLC, Culture Ultra Lounge located at 3962 Mayfield Road. A new C1, C2 permit for Karen Petroleum Inc. located at 2294 Lee Road. A new D5 permit for 4 on 6 Inc. Savoy located at 1318 Warrensville Center Road, and a new D1, D3 permit for 1223 Lounge Place LLC located at 2558 Noble Road. These matters have been referred to the mayor and chief of police.
All right, thank you, Addie. Next, we have public comment. This will be for agenda items only. Do we have any?
We do not for legislative agenda items, no.
Then we'll move on to the legislation. First readings for consideration for adoption.
I have resolution number 024-2026 on first reading, a resolution reappointing Mohammed Irfan as a member of the Climate and Environmental Sustainability Committee of the City of Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and declaring the necessity that this legislation become immediately effective as an emergency measure, introduced by all city council members.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Next, I have resolution number 025-2026 on first reading, a resolution appointing James Arnold and Aaron Markovi as members of the Climate and Environmental Sustainability Committee of the City of Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and declaring the necessity that this legislation become immediately effective as an emergency measure, introduced by all city council members.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Next, I have resolution number 026-2026 on first reading, a resolution appointing Aaron Ware, Amber Rogers, Melinda Burt, and Bruce Delaney as members of the Citizens Advisory Committee of the City of Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and declaring the necessity that this legislation become immediately effective as an emergency measure, introduced by all city council members.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
I have resolution number 027-2026 on first reading, a resolution appointing Rachel Bernstein, Don McBride, Shakara Ben, Judith Ryder Frumker, Eileen Rammerman, Amy Rosenbluth, Hannah Ginley, and Mary Beth Matthews as members of the Arts Commission of the City of Cleveland Heights, Ohio, and declaring the necessity that this legislation become immediately effective as an emergency measure introduced by all city council members.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Let me just say, I see Judith's here, and anybody else that's on the Arts Commission nomination? Okay, well, thank you for coming. I just want to, first of all, thank the 3 people who were appointed 2 years ago who never met. It's a long story, but I'm so glad to see this Arts Commission getting put together. I would like to know how the first meeting will happen. I don't know if we need to discuss that now, but there will be 11 members if we put these people on the committee, and then a meeting needs to be scheduled. So I don't know if we just figure that out later.
Our office could schedule it, or Addie could, or
However you guys want to work it.
Yeah,
do you want us to arrange it?
I think Addie can do that. And, you know, now we know who the members are. But anyway, just couldn't be more pleased that we're getting this off the ground. There's a lot of business that they could be helping with. You know, we have events and so forth. So very glad to see this happening.
Okay, so I'm a little confused,
Okay,
sorry.
that's right.
But is this a council committee now, or is this a administrative mayoral committee?
I mean, there are appointments made by both the mayor and council, and they will be advising both the mayor and council. So I guess the answer is both.
Okay.
All right. It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Next, I have resolution number 028-2026 on first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Green Home Solutions LLC, a certified lead abatement contractor, for the use of Lead Safe Ohio grant funds in connection with the abatement of lead-based paint hazards at the home located upon permanent parcel number 684-01-117, providing compensation therefore and declaring the necessity that this legislation become immediately effective as an emergency measure introduced by Mayor Petras.
All right. Before anybody says anything, because of the questions that were asked in committee of the whole, I would look favorably on not motioning to move this forward, so we have a couple of weeks to dive into it a little deeper. Is that okay with everybody?
I think that's a very good idea, because I was going to be a no tonight on
All right.
this.
So in that case, unless we have somebody that's, you know, it's pressing for them to move this forward, we'll put this off. Go ahead. We can discuss.
I would assume that you'll communicate with the people that were in the community of the whole, that we just did this, because those 2 people that were there are expecting us to be voted on tonight. So I'm hoping someone put the closure on that communication loop and let them know that it didn't go through this evening, because they were talking about the contractor needed to start work, and Brian Iorio. So somebody will communicate with him that this changed. I appreciate
I
it.
can tell them tomorrow.
Okay. I appreciate
Mayor.
that. All right. In that case, Addie, go on to the next
I
item.
have resolution number 029-2026 on first reading, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Hall Public Safety Upfitters for the purchase and installation of upfitting equipment for the Cleveland Heights Police Department, and declaring the necessity that this legislation become immediately effective as an emergency measure introduced by Mayor Petras.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Next, I have resolution number 030-2026 on first reading, a resolution confirming the mayor's appointment of city administrator for the city of Cleveland Heights and declaring the necessity that this legislation become immediately effective as an emergency measure introduced by Mayor Petras.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any discussion?
I am happy to see someone hired in that position, and I'm thankful that the mayor now has a city administrator that will do an excellent job. Thank you.
And Mayor, would you like to
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to reiterate, we received well over 50 applications for this position. We interviewed 13 people. We had 2 in-person interviews with Mr. Reese, along with a number of Zoom meetings. And he brings a wealth of experience to this position. He served in the city of Columbus for almost 20 years. He was chief of staff for 9 of those years, managed a very large organization with a very large budget, and I think that we could really benefit from his experience.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other comments? I would just say that, first of all, I want to give you a lot of credit because in a month, you've put forth a top-notch candidate for city administrator. Tomorrow, we had a hearing on the finance director. Earlier today, we'll be voting on the finance director tomorrow. Those are 2 really key positions. I think getting that together in 30 days shows that, you know, you did a lot of work in between the time you were elected and the time you took office. And then, you know, we're just more than happy to move this forward. Should we do a roll call vote on something like this? Yeah.
Cobb.
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
DeWitt Foy.
Aye.
Posh.
Aye.
Cohen.
Aye.
Kuda.
An enthusiastic aye. Next, we have first readings only.
I have resolution number 031-2026 on first reading, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement to lease an unoccupied room within the city's recreation center located at 1 Monticello Boulevard, Cleveland Heights, Ohio, 44118, finding that room is not needed for public use and declaring the necessity of this legislation become immediately effective as an emergency measure, introduced by Mayor Petrus. And I have resolution number 032-2026 on first reading, a resolution providing for a contribution in support of the Heights Schools Foundation's Fitness Under the Lights event and declaring the necessity that this legislation become immediately effective as an emergency measure, introduced by Mayor Petrus.
All right, next we have second readings. 1 second reading.
I have resolution number 021-2026 on second reading, a resolution authorizing the city to participate in the NOPEC Green Community Choice Program for the city's electricity aggregation program starting June 2026 and declaring the necessity that this legislation become immediately effective as an emergency measure, introduced by Mayor Petrus.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? That motion passes. Now we're on to committee reports. Who has a committee report? Vice President Larson.
Thank you, President Kuda. Municipal Services and Environmental Sustainability Committee will meet Monday, February 9th at 7 p.m. Our guests will be Public Works Director Klinkscale and Climate and Environmental Sustainability Committee member John Barber. The Climate and Environmental Sustainability Citizens Committee meets on Tuesday, February 17th at 4 p.m. The Transportation and Mobility Citizens Committee meets on Wednesday, February 25th. That's it.
All right, thank you. Any other committee reports? Councilman DeWitt Foy.
The Community Relations and Recreation Committee will meet next Monday, February 9th at 5 p.m. in the executive conference room. We're hoping to hear from the directors of both Community Relations and Parks and Recreation to get an overview of major initiatives they have planned for 2026. I'll highlight the watch party that Mayor Petrus highlighted earlier. Again, our own Layla Edwards and Team USA Hockey will take on Finland as the first match for Team USA in the 2026 Winter Olympics. There'll be a watch party at the community center. Doors open at 10 a.m., 10:40 for the game to start this Saturday, February 7th. And I'll highlight that I, as well as several other council members, attended the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Master Plan open house this past week at the community center. There's a great turnout to see the progress of the plan so far and to provide feedback to the planning team as they prioritize their recommendations. To learn more about this plan or to provide feedback, please visit chparks.com. And council should expect a presentation later this spring once those recommendations are finalized.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Cohen.
Yes, looking forward to our first Planning and Development Committee meeting this Monday, February 9th at 6 p.m. We are in the midst of a zoning code review, and the zoning department, planning department staff will be coming to us to talk about council engagement throughout that, what is expected to be a year-long process. We're also going to have a presentation from the planning department just to level set us with current planning initiatives, what they're working on across the city, as well as their recent work on auto shops enforcement. We are also going to be hearing from the administration on a severance timeline update. And we are looking forward to a legislation update. We will start our conversation on potentially some legislation to have a official park review, substantial changes to parks be reviewed by the Planning Commission or perhaps some other body in the city. So should be an exciting meeting. Looking forward to seeing everyone there.
Yeah, jam-packed agenda. That's Monday the 9th, correct?
Monday the 9th at 6 p.m. So we'll have community relations and rec, then planning and development, and then I think municipal services and environmental sustainability.
Any other committee reports? Then we're on to public comment, general.
Judith Ryder.
Look at you. Number one.
I'm a committee of one right now.
Well, one of 11.
Yes, Mayor Petras and President Kuda and members of council. The arts are so incredibly relevant these days as we grapple with security, not only for us in the community, but neighborhoods and people that we might feel might be in danger of threat of ICE. So the arts can help us connect. It is essential that the arts are alive throughout the community, and I know there are areas where it's very strong. There are businesses and arts organizations, and I'm hoping that we can extend that footprint a little bit more broadly across the community. This is a precarious time, and it is really wonderful to be working with this wonderful new administration. So I'm proud to be a member of the Arts Commission. Thank you.
You're welcome, and glad to have you aboard.
Edgar Mitchell.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. I'm happy to be here because the weather is bad, and last Monday, I'm happy to say that Cleveland Heights did come out to the property on Neela View, and they actually took a camera and ran a camera down through the drain to determine what's going on with that, the roots from the tree.
That's great.
And that made me happy that that happened, because it's been so long trying to get that to happen. And I want to thank council and the mayor for the stuff that they have done. And I'm glad also to say that Cleveland Heights has been peaceful compared to when you look at TV and look at stuff that's happening around the country with ICE and with other stuff, you know, in general. We have maintained as much peace as we could. So I want to thank Heights safety forces for that, and all the people that pushed to have that happen. I don't have much to say tonight. I just came in to thank the city for the things that we are doing. And I'd like to thank council for whatever that, you know, they're trying to do to make sure that everything is better for the residents of Cleveland Heights. Okay?
Always
Thank
good to see you.
Carly Whitaker.
I actually also have a pleasant task of coming here to thank.
So name and.
Oh, sorry, Carly Whitaker, 1171 Sylvania Road. So I am a member of Cleveland Heights for Immigrant Rights, and I'm here to thank Councilwoman Cohn. We really appreciate, we received a correspondence from you that gives a first step towards us putting some legal clinics in place for members of our community, immigrant members of our community, that can happen as early as the end of this month. So we really appreciate your leadership, especially as a new member of City Council, to try to make that happen. So we look forward to working with you, and thank you very much. So I do want to say, like, we do see this as the first step towards, we're still going to pursue doing the 2-year pilot program for legal counsel, but this is a great first step to help our residents who might be afraid right now for what's going on and give them some good advice. And just, after hearing the other people speak, I just wanted to say that in terms of the arts, we did have this amazing vigil at Coventry Peace Park, and I want to thank, there's an arts collective named See You Next Tuesday, and they helped create the tombstones that we used to remember and honor Renee Good, Alex Pretty, and all of the people who have been killed in ICE detention this past year. So it was a local arts collective that collaborated with us on that vigil. And actually what you just said in terms of safety. So our next big event we had a very hugely successful teach-in that had over 300 people online the day before the vigil. And then our next upcoming event is a community ICE defense training, Sunday, February 15th from 3 to 5 p.m. We already have over 350 people registered for that who want to prepare for what we need to do as a community to, say again? So we're not, for security reasons, we're not revealing the location. So, but if you register, you will get the information for that. So thank you so much. Thank you.
That's all.
Oh, very good. All right. Now we're moving on to old business. We have any old business? Any new business? Then we're on to council comments. Councilman?
I ran into State Rep Juanita Brent at the community center at the event that sort of gave us sort of an idea of what's going on with our rec plan. And State Representative Brent asked me to mention to council that there's 4 critical bills that are being pushed through the Senate and the House regarding supporting ICE. And she encouraged me to inform council and the public, just through the little voice that I have, that it's important that we send comment to Columbus, telling them that we've got some concerns here. And I'm going to just go over the 4 bills here. We have House Bill 26 and Senate Bill 172. It's called Destroying Ohio Communities Act. It requires state and local agencies to share information about anyone arrested with ICE authorities. There's another series of things. If state and local agencies do not report, they lose their state funding or a piece of it. We have House Bill 281, No Immigrant Sanctuaries Act. This requires hospitals to allow ICE agents to enter and make arrests. If they don't comply, they lose their funding. And we have House Bill 42, the Immigration Status Collection Act, and this requires state and local agencies to collect and report data on individual citizens and immigration status. For example, the schools would have to report legal status and a citizen status of their students. It just seems like these are overreaches. It seems to me, from my perspective, I'm not talking, I can't speak for council, I'm an individual, but I will tell you, it just seems like this is escalating things to a point where we're going to see more deaths, and I just would hate to see that. So you can contact me if you need a listing of the representatives, their emails and their phone numbers, if you'd like to send an email on your saying you're concerned about this.
Oh, go ahead, Vice President Larson.
First of all, thank you, Carly, for the positive message. I really appreciate it. And when I read my statement, you'll understand why. Okay? Yeah. A concerned citizen included this sentence in her email dated January 23rd to your council members. Quote, if you are unwilling to take any action to protect the immigrants in Cleveland Heights, please just let us know so we can alert the community to the local fascist collaborators on city council. That hurt. The next day, I attended the Tactics at Work Restoring Our Democracy session at my church, Forest Hill, where the Cleveland Heights flock camera contract was the target the presenters chose as the example for discussions about activism to support immigrants. A member of my faith community asked me what was going on with the flock cameras, but was not interested in hearing my support for the crime fighting tool the cameras do provide to keep us safer. My friend walked away. I've been involved in immigration activism since I rode the bus to Ann Arbor in 2019 to support Ainsley Dumas in his request to be released from detainment. I have been an observer in the Cleveland immigration courts and shown up to support people when they needed a show of community so the judge knew that they were welcome here. To those who want council to take action to contribute $200,000 of taxpayer money to legal aid for immigrants in need of those services, we have heard you. Jessica, Councilor Cohen's response is part of that response. I have personally contributed to the Immigration Defense Fund and AMI and will do so again as long as we need to support existing agencies that do that work. Per the mayor's request, special assistant to the mayor, Josie Moore, and communications director, Shantz, posted on the city's website a designated section where all citizens can go to find local resources for housing, food, and transportation assistance, legal aid, and other basic needs. Many are saying get rid of flock cameras. The mayor and the law department are looking at the contract with flock that we have regarding the flock cameras. They do provide a tool that our police can use to identify criminals in our business districts, to keep our neighborhoods safer, and to identify vehicles that run down pedestrians. The mayor is aware that some cities have renegotiated their contracts. Austin, Texas canceled its contract with Flock in June. The state of Minnesota only allows use of flock cameras to solve local crimes. Stillwater, Minnesota Police Department utilizes flock safety technology to capture objective evidence without compromising individual privacy. The charges made against council that our silence is complicity and thus we are fascists are disturbing and personally disappointing. These charges have divided our city and my faith community. This council, the administration, and those interested in justice for immigrants need to work together, not against each other. The current resident of the White House, who shall remain nameless, wants us to fight amongst ourselves. Instead, let's listen to each other and do what we can to make all the citizens of this city safer. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Larson. Any other council comments?
One comment.
Yeah, please.
We have a vacancy on our Transportation and Mobility Committee. We have, I believe, 3 or 4 people that had applied earlier in the year. If you're still interested, it is not necessary for you to resubmit an application. But if there is anyone that is interested, please get us an application. So I think we'll probably try and consider those at our next Administrative Services Committee meeting at the end of the month, the last Monday of the month. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman Cohen.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to follow up on Vice President Larson's comments to share a few things. One, how deeply personal what is happening right now in the country around immigration is to me, both from my family history as a member of the Jewish people and as a lawyer. And I share Council Vice President Larson's hurt and surprise at being characterized as such when we are really working hard to see what we can do for these members of not only our community, but across the country to the extent that we can personally and to the extent that we can in our position here on Cleveland Heights City Council. I'm very pleased to share that through some personal connections and the generous spirit of the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association, who was able to make some connections for us, that we provided with Cleveland Heights for Immigrant Rights the name and the commitment of a bilingual immigration attorney who is willing to offer at least 3 legal clinics for the Cleveland Heights community, in particular immigrants, in Spanish, if that's preferred, over the next 6 months. So as Ms. Whitaker mentioned, as early as the end of this February, to provide the information that immigrants in our community may need, whether that be by Zoom or in person. We have communicated that to the organization, and we hope that they'll take us up on their offer. There's a lot more, I believe, that can be done without having to follow exactly the prescribed requirements of the Cleveland Heights for Immigrants' Rights proposal. We're going to continue to be creative and explore amongst ourselves with council, with the partnership. And thank you very much, Mayor Petras, for your partnership in this, and your city staff as they help us evaluate what we can and cannot do. And we'll continue to work on this. But I will say that I appreciate the better tone. We appreciate being able to work together. And please know that for many of us, including myself, this is deeply personal. And we're going to continue to do whatever we can to support in the way that we believe is the best way to steward city resources and to serve our entire community. So thank you.
All right. Any other council comments?
Yeah, just a quick one from me. Wanted to thank the members of our Public Works Department for their tireless efforts in trying to keep our streets cleared and the work of the city going while dealing with multiple snowstorms and a historic cold stretch. It's been rough conditions, and the men and women of our Public Works Department have been working hard to keep us safe and keep us going. So thank you for that.
All righty. Okay, so what's left here? Just my report? Yeah, I guess that's it. So first of all, Councilwoman Cohen, thank you so much for that initiative. And Vice President Larson, well said. I have been disturbed by some of the emails that we have received from the Immigrants' Rights Group. The fascist statement was certainly objectionable. There was another email I got that, you know, the first paragraph was completely false, and then everything after it was, you know, right on the money. But it's hard when you read something. This particular one said that there are people on council that should stop encouraging people to attend council meetings. I have never seen anybody on this council say, don't come to these meetings, stop coming, stop talking. That has never happened. That I haven't seen it, not once. The person goes on to say that they should stop showing up with their signs. You know, I've had the law department tell me that's not a good idea, but I've actually not heard anybody, pardon, give an objection. No, but I understand that because there are reasons for decorum and so forth. The way this works, and you know, we're a legislative body, if there's nobody willing to sponsor legislation, at some point you have to understand that's the way it works. If nobody's going to sponsor it, there will be no legislation. Nobody has come forth. We've listened. We're glad that you come here and share your views. But at the end of the day, that's how it works. That doesn't mean we don't support the cause in general, because I know I've spoken to everybody on this, and including the mayor, and there is a broader cause beyond the money for the attorneys that I believe is generally supported by council. But I want you to know this is always a place where you can come and get up to that microphone and have at it for 3 minutes. I have heard the most intelligent, inspiring messages from our community for 4 years, and hopefully 4 more years. And I want you to know you're always welcome here. And with that, at 8:12, this meeting is adjourned.